into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome back to another Spotlight On. Today I'm joined in the studio with some of the cast from Youthful Daze, which is a really cool teen drama. I have right next to me this guy right here, Mr. Mike Manning.
Hi.
And across from us we have Brian and Ethan. How you guys doing?
Good. Hi, guys.
And then over on the couch we have Jonathan and Brittany.
Hey.
So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Remember, you guys can subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube. Also, you can tweet me directly at Mikaela, _Phillips. I love hearing what you guys think, so be sure to send me a tweet. But you guys, we literally just finished literally laughing. We've been laughing for 10 minutes, just all talking. So they're a good bunch, you guys. They're really a lot of fun. So how are you guys' days going? Have you just come from set? What's going on?
I actually I just got back from taking my last test to become a real estate agent.
Oh, so, okay. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
there you go.
hopefully I passed it. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool. And anything you guys are interesting up to today?
I mean, my sister's coming into town, visiting LA, so just getting the house ready and doing a bunch of that kind of stuff.
There you go.
Excited she's
well, that's
coming.
really fun. All right, well, let's jump straight into what Youthful Daze is about. So for anyone watching who isn't too familiar with Youthful Daze, Youthful Daze is a teen soap opera in the vein of Cruel Intentions, a 90s 90210, and it centers around a group of teenagers in Southern California that go to a private school called Westfield Prep. So, I mean, already with that kind of description, I've got thoughts flying, what could be happening. Do you guys ever get compared to a lot of other kind of shows in that genre? Like, what comes to mind for me is like Gossip Girl or 90210. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about getting compared to it?
I mean, that's awesome. I think it definitely falls into that genre of juicy, you never know what's going to happen. There's a lot of, oh my gosh, we love those moments. I think that's what we go for, and it's really exciting and fun to watch and full of drama.
And it's flattering too, because I love those shows. I think everyone does. So if we can take our show and be a little bit like that, maybe put a spin on it, be a little fresh, but still be like that, that's great. It's
absolutely. Well, that's a great, I'm glad you mentioned that, Brian, because you actually you continue still to write Youthful Daze, is that right?
Correct.
Right, so where did the idea first come about? What made you be like, I want to write something of this genre?
I thought about it when I get asked this question, and there's no easy way for it to answer, because it's been such a long process for so many years. But it originally started with wanting to be a short film, wanting to do something like that. But it all stems from just wanting to be a voice for teenagers, and currently, because there's just so much change going on in the world, it just felt like it's kind of like you said, even going back to I want to do my own 90s 90210, do it again, but do it differently. That's definitely where the thoughts started.
Okay, great. Well, that's not a bad place to start. And where did you actually because there's a lot of people, and there's probably a lot of people that are watching it that might want to, because you act in it as well.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people that probably want to pursue acting and perhaps writing, or writing and producing. How do you defer between the two and constantly go between the two?
It's not easy. I really live moment to moment. I'm very thankful and grateful for the opportunities that I have, and you definitely have to keep yourself in check. You have to be thankful. I think positivity is key. Getting sleep at night, functioning like a person. But I feel like I'm doing my calling. So everyone, whoever they are, whatever they're going through in life, hopefully they'll find that, and then you can find a way that way.
Absolutely. And you mentioned just earlier before we start the interview that you work a lot and not enough time for sleep sometimes, which is, you got to work to be able to get there. But do you think that's what you credit also the success to this for, that you are that hard of a worker?
Well, the one thing that I love about Youthful Daze from the outside looking in is that we don't go away. We're like a security blanket in a way, and I think that that's something that people are not doing on the internet as much, and we are, which is exciting. So if you just now are finding out about the show, or if you've been committed to it for years, I can tell you that we have a whole other season shot already, and we're going to be airing for another year straight, and we're about to start another one.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So you guys are already committed then for another year, and you're all going to be in it.
They're
I'm
all
just checking,
there,
no one dies.
No, they're all here as of now. No,
As of now, right? Don't upset the writer. My mom's a writer, so I can understand. You can very easily write someone out.
no comment.
Yeah. Another thing that people need to know is that literally like 99.9% of this show is Brian James. Like without him, like the show would not be. It would not be. So he writes it, he produces it, he stars in it, and like people need to know that.
Absolutely.
So.
And the story of its inception is really cool too, because if you look back, I mean, we're in season 4 right now, and season 1 was was sort of like you learning how to do it. Season 2, you were fine tuning it. By season 3, like the machine was like oiled, and then and so every season it's sort of you see the progression, and you see it's sort of like a nice story of like someone that wanted to create something with their friends, and then learning as you go. But like you surround yourself with passionate people that want to do the same thing, and it's crazy sort of what you can all accomplish together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you guys, any of you, know each other prior to going into this, or you met because of Youthful Daze?
I met Ethan when I was already working on Youthful Daze,
Okay.
but prior to that, and then everyone else, I've been lucky enough to meet them and then work with them and then get to know them better.
Oh, fantastic. All right, well, let's jump straight into like each of your characters. So we'll start first with you, Brian.
Okay.
So you play Drew and Josh Cashel. No, I'm not repeating names. I'm not wrong. You have a split personality with this character, or multiple personalities, I should
Yes.
say. So Drew suffers from DID. So is Drew like the main, and then the multiple personalities Josh? Or is it vice versa? It's a little hard to draw the line there.
I can't reveal that to you.
Oh.
That's a storyline coming up
Okay. Oh, really? When can we expect to see that?
this summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Who is the host?
Be ready to see that. That's actually very
struggle.
interesting. What made you want to write a character that has like that? Because that's something that's very difficult, let alone what you're already doing, writing, producing, and acting in it, to then have a character that's 2 personalities.
Yeah, even hearing that, like, I'm like, wow, this guy does a lot. But no, it's like, for me, just approaching it as an actor, and when I write all of the characters on the show, I want there to be a through line and be something substantial and something to do. And what's great about doing a show long term is it has a perception of what it is, and if you want to keep doing it, I want to keep taking it to another level and keep changing dynamics. And that was a great way to do that, is to kind of take the show and turn it on its head by having Drew have a multiple personality.
Sure. And
Yeah.
I've kind of seen some of these actually in Naitono, but what came to my mind when I read about that is there a reason he hasn't sought help or medication, or is he just like, or no one else has helped him?
He doesn't know currently
He
in aired
doesn't?
episodes
Okay.
that he has a multiple personality. And what I've done with this storyline is we shot additional scenes that have been sprinkled into season 3, because it's really like a season 4 storyline.
Okay.
But so the audience is almost aware of it before the characters.
happens. Okay.
Like, I don't think, no, actually none of these characters in this room right now, no one knows that Drew has a multiple personality. They might think he's got a lot of problems, but not that one. Not yet.
That's interesting. That's a little like inside info there.
Yeah.
And actually, your character now is, okay, on top of everything else, he's addicted to drugs. Now, it's kind of the heavy stuff we're talking here, and I believe you two are both addicted. Is that correct?
Yes.
So that brings in your character,
hooked
Mike
me.
Collin.
Yes.
So that's very interesting. How did they get hooked on it? Is this something that they've been doing for a while? Tell the fans a little bit about that.
Well, with Colin, this is something that he's been struggling with for a while in his own life, and then sort of when he meets Drew Castle, his addiction is sort of heightened because of the drama that sort of comes into his life along with Drew. So we first see Colin in rehab, and he's he is sort of tied to another character on the show whom he previously had relations with, and then
Can I?
yeah.
Was that your character?
Nope.
Okay, because I knew you were like in rehab before you
Well,
became
yeah,
a good
that was
girl.
when I first came on the show too.
Okay.
Was in rehab, and when our characters first met as well. Everybody has
I was one of
problems.
those.
We all got problems.
Go on,
Yeah,
go on,
yeah.
Mike.
Did they meet when my charter was in rehab? I think that's what
We've
it
all
was.
been in
You guys
rehab,
are gonna meet
right?
when my character is.
But the reason my character is hooked on drugs is because his character was kidnapped, and I was gonna jump off the roof, and
Oh
he
my
stopped
gosh.
me. Well, it was traumatic for my
Yeah,
character,
wow.
obviously,
A little
but
soap drama action here.
For sure.
Yeah. Absolutely, Mike. Go ahead with what you were saying.
No, it's fine. So that's the way sort of my character was tied in. Was I was dating Drew's cousin, who's played by Sarah Hester, and then that sort of fizzles away, and she does her own thing. But then through that, I'm introduced to Brian's character, Drew, and we sort of help each other walk down the path that neither of us should be walking down in terms of drugs and addiction and stuff like that.
So you're in it together, you could say.
Yeah.
Better or worse.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting about Colin and Drew is a lot of people have been writing me and they really like their friendship and I like the Colin and Drew friendship a lot too. And what I think is interesting about that is how in life too you can have things that are good and then things that are bad too, because clearly they both should not be doing these drugs and the substance abuse problems.
Absolutely.
But they kind of encourage each other. Even when they bring out their best, they can bring out their worst as well.
That's like a real kryptonite then for each other.
Yes, for sure.
And that's interesting.
And I think it's fun because I've never been able to play a character that's sort of that.
Dark, would you say?
That dark. It's dark, and he's not dark because he's malicious. He's dark because he's desperate and sad, and he doesn't know better. And so they sort of enable each other to be the worst versions of themselves with the best intentions.
My favorite moment in the new episode that just came out yesterday is your character leaves the room, and it's kind of like this sweet moment, and you're like, maybe they're gonna get back together, and then all of a sudden he comes in, he's like, God, I couldn't wait for him to leave, and then it's just like the whole energy shifts, and then it's this other dynamic that he brings. It's perfect.
All right, so let me ask you this, Mike. Where do you hope Colin's character to develop now in the future? Do you want to see him get clean, or do you want him to go into a darker path?
Wait, what do I want, or what?
Yeah, I mean, where do you see the character? You are embodying the character. Where do you see his character developing?
Well, we definitely, and I won't give anything away, Brian. No, we definitely see him. I think we see things get worse before they get better.
Okay.
If they, in fact, get better.
So a downward spiral?
I would like to see him get better because I think he's an artist on the show and he's talented, and I think that he has a lot of potential, and he's not going to realize that potential unless he cleans up his life. So I think that I'd like to see that.
Colin's one of the good characters on the show too. I feel like he's not a psycho. He's not manipulative. Really, he's a good guy.
Just going through a little rough patch. Got to find himself.
There's like a few angels in the cast, in the cast, you know. And at first, I think it used to only be Tommy was the only Boy Scout, and now as the show develops, more and more angels are
which is your character, correct? Tommy.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about playing Tommy? And it's to my knowledge that you guys are like a love interest. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So Drew and Tommy are a love interest. That's an interesting little storyline. Do you find a lot of people embrace that? Because I know people share a lot of different views, but is that something that people like that it's helped? Because I'm sure a lot of your storylines probably are helping people, whether it's I know you have a really interesting storyline coming up, but whether it's, when you're talking about the multiple personality or the drugs, or it's all based around school as well. What do you guys feel about that?
I feel it's awesome to get messages, which I've gotten recently from kids that are gay and that are hating themselves and being picked on, and for this show to do something like that, to give them that voice, is amazing. But when we started doing the show, me and Ethan were always wanting to just be professionals that walk into a situation with that kind of weight and that kind of magnitude, which is important in society, and make it almost not even about that though. Hopefully when you really watch the show, you'll be like, that's Drew and Tommy, because hopefully we can get to a place in society where everyone views just people like that too.
Yeah, it's instead of viewing it as a man and a man, maybe just view it as two human beings.
A relationship. That's simple.
When we talk about the characters and when we do our prep work together on scenes, what's great is we drew parallels and conversations with some great love stories, and there was always straight, so we were wanting to approach it from that angle from go.
Fair enough. Absolutely. And what's happening with Tommy? What can you tell us about Tommy's character? What can you reveal?
Something I love about playing Tommy is that I've literally done anything an actor wants to played anything an actor wants to, because he started out as this good maybe almost too good to be true kind of guy, that was perfect, and then but he turned into some dark corners, and I love the character. Yeah, it's great. What was the question?
You just seem really when you're talking about your character, you actually seem really emotionally connected to it, which is something that's really cool to see.
Well, I feel in real life I am Tommy to an extent, because I am that kind of guy that I feel like I'm that kind of guy that's always sees the bright side of life. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. We're going to start talking about Jonathan and Brittany's characters. Now, Jonathan, you play Tyler Dean.
Yeah.
And you're a mysterious hitman over here.
Yes.
So this is very interesting.
So,
and also, you haven't been out, like, I mean, there's a love interest for your character, correct? Are we going to get to see them get together anytime soon? Do you want it to happen?
See who?
Tyler and Natalie.
They did get together for a while, and it didn't, end the way Tyler wanted it to. But I think in the future is really, open to Brian right now, where that's going to go. I mean, there's definitely a possibility for us to get back together, and then there's also a possibility Tyler's kind of meeting other people in that world right now, and kind of, I don't know how I should say it, finding other connections.
Totally.
Okay, interesting. So maybe another love story will develop or something else.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Now, do we have a backstory at all of your character about him being a hitman? Do you think that we'll get to see any more revealed or any like darker secrets revealed about you?
Oh, I mean, it's Youthful Daze. There are always darker secrets. Come on.
Yeah. What would name of the game?
Your favorite kind of storyline that Brian could write? If you had to put something out there right now.
I mean, I was so happy with the Hitman stuff. I had such a fun time that any more of that, bring it at me, man.
I'm going to be a hitman.
We got to, it was really cool. We were shooting, I really liked the dock scenes we were shooting where, I get shot and you think I'm dead and then I come back. Whoa. And it was great. It was really awesome. We actually shot that part in my hometown, which was really cool because Brian's like, we're looking for locations. And he happened to say, do you know anywhere with docks? And I was like, I happen to, I'm from Westlake Village, California, and they have docks out there. It's not too far from LA. And we all drove out of the second unit people and we went and we shot a bunch of dock stuff. And it was really fun. And it's so funny because on that lake, it's pretty much a lot of retired people. And there are these elderly people on their boat drinking. And when I got shot and fell in the lake, they're cheering me on. They're like, woo, yeah. Yeah.
You guys were like the live entertainment.
Exactly. They're like, this is great.
Oh my gosh. What are some of the challenges, or if there are any at all, that you find playing your character?
I think the biggest challenge, and this goes with a lot of shows because I came in later, obviously. I think the biggest challenge is finding what place you're at, really looking at the history of the show and finding where you're at and jumping in and trying to really, because it was all a quick thing. I found out I was doing this job and then I discussing with with Brian, because no one knows better than him, okay, where are we right now? Where are we going with this? How do you want this? This is what I see. And, there's always challenges in finding that character. And this was completely different than anything I've ever played. And, being mysterious, but not trying to look like I'm trying to be mysterious.
Yeah, fair enough.
But really living in that and finding reasons for everything. And I think, it's always challenging when you go on a set and people have been working with each other for a while. And I was really lucky because everyone was really nice and really warm and, really cool and helping me kind of find out where we were. And, it's also really fast-paced. And it's fast-paced shooting, and I mean, that's really fun. Yeah. I really like that, but yeah, it's challenging.
Absolutely. And you guys seem like pretty close now, so I don't think you have anything to worry
about. Yeah, no, they were really cool and really welcoming. So, I mean, you get really lucky on some shoots, and I consider myself really lucky on this one. So.
Absolutely. And you actually started in the industry really young. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure everyone's familiar with your work. I mean, I don't even think I have to say it, but, I mean, everything from Jerry Maguire to Stuart Little, like Mike. So you started really young.
Yeah.
How did you feel like making that leap now to be taken more seriously as a more adult actor? And what are your views on like these young teen stars that just completely go off the rails?
I think it has a lot to do with parenting, and I was really lucky. I have great parents, and the reason I kind of was away for a while is I went to public school. I went to public high school. I wanted to play water polo on my water polo team, do prom, do all the normal stuff, and I think that you kind of have to ride that fine line. If it's all about the parenting, where if the kid wants to work, let the kid work. But there were a lot of times that my parents would, we would turn down roles if it were during youth league baseball season or during basketball season, just so I could be a normal kid. And to be completely honest, I think I had the best of both worlds. And I think individually, it depends on the kid and it depends on the parents. But I do think overall there are a lot of actors who are younger and you know, do it for the rest of their lives that no one notices that do a great job at it. And I think that people tend to focus on the negative side of it. But there are a lot of kids I know that I grew up with who work, who have been nothing but, you know, good and normal and stayed out of that. But my heart goes out to the kids who have kind of lost their way, because it's a very hard industry, and it's hard as an adult, and it's hard as a kid, and it's something that I think comes down to the parenting. It comes down to making sure you have that normal life where the parents are parents and the kids are kids, and the kids aren't really, you know, off the rails
letting
too
it go
young.
to the head. Okay, so that would be like your advice for any young actors out there as well.
Yeah, I would say if you really love doing it, then pursue it, but know that it is a huge sacrifice and that it's a huge part of your life. And I think the most important thing is the parents, and I think that parents really need to be diligent if they're going to be, you know, parents of actors, and be good parents first, and then, you know, I guess actor wranglers second, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's very nicely said. So thank you, Jonathan. I want to talk, Brittany, about Sheila. Okay, so Sheila Edmondson. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
Edmondson. Okay,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So now, like we mentioned before, Sheila was a little bit of a bad girl when we first met your character.
Yeah.
Do you want to see that kind of side come back out of her now that she's like a little bit goody-goody?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was great because I got to play the bad girl, and Brian and I talked about this so much. I feel like I always play like the heroine or the good girl, and even, you know, when I did a show where I started out as a bad girl before and kind of got goody, the bad was like, oh, I spray painted something one time, and like, oh, I'm such a rebel, you know what I mean? But this was like actually nitty gritty, like dark stuff that I think as an actor is always like kind of enjoyable to explore that side and kind of go into that place just to kind of, you know, hash out some stuff and see what's there and bring stuff to life that you maybe didn't know you had. And so I think it was really fun to like explore with Sheila. I think we found really great moments, and we started talking about, okay, well, she has to be coming from somewhere with all this darkness. Like, what happened to her to make her this way? Because everybody is the way they are, good or bad, positive or negative, for a reason.
Based on experience.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it helps you to understand, because you might think, oh, somebody's like a jerk or mean or angry, but it's from something. So what is that? And it helps you to relate to that person. So when we kind of went into her history and her background, it helped make her more relatable, and you kind of felt for her more, instead of her just being like this crazy girl who just wanted to do things for no reason. It was like, oh, she comes from abuse and from something that drives her, and for every motivation that she does. And so I think you started to actually kind of feel bad for her, and she sort of faced her demons. So it took her on this journey of like, okay, I can't just hide behind this wall if I'm just going to do whatever and push everyone away. You know, somebody was able to tap through everything and kind of make her grounded and face herself. And
Absolutely. So we really see Sheila develop, which is a really good thing. For the character to develop in a good way, and in a more, I guess you could say, like mature or finding herself way. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you, do you find it all cathartic to kind of play, like, because you get to express maybe yourself more that way, or you get to delve into like a darker or maybe more emotional side? Do you think that's like cathartic to be able to play that? Let some stress out?
Yeah, a little bit. And I think that's the fun of being an actor, is like you can express every part of yourself, and not everybody gets to do that. And I feel like acting can be like therapy sometimes, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you go to a place in your head where it brings up something in your past that you bring into that character, or that you use to get to that place. And there are times where it's like, okay, I need to snap out of that. You know what I mean? But then it feels good, you know, because you went there for a second, and then you're able to come back into reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, drawing that line there.
Yeah.
Now, your character is developed feelings for Cody. So I don't know if someone hasn't seen this, there's a bit of a spoiler right now. Cody is unfortunately dying right now. Now, how do you go into knowing this about like your character or about her love interest? How do you emotionally prepare for something that like devastating and it's really sad?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and I've experienced loss with someone, so I think once you feel that, you just that stays with you forever, and that feeling, and even just, I think even the thought of losing someone, even for people who haven't gone through that. I mean, you can watch a movie and see a character die, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean, and you don't really know them. But the thing is, when you go to that place of this is the relationship, and this is how I feel about that person as the character, then to think about that not being there anymore, it is a sad thing, you know. And when you go into that place, it's not hard to relate to that, or to kind of imagine what that would feel like, the love of your life or whoever you care that much about to be gone. It's super sad.
Yeah, it really is. So it'd be interesting to see where Sheila then goes from that, or how she'll move on, and what will develop for her. Hopefully, maybe she'll be able to move on, have like a more happy, normal relationship. Right? Are you getting my hints here?
Okay, wait, this is the thing. This is what I wanted to say. Like, because Brittany's so great playing Sheila, and what's exciting is that literally with Sheila, I feel that like that's the reaction I want. Like, I feel the way too watching it. Like, not only do I want the girl to get a break, I'm angry if she doesn't. So it's like that's a perfect position to be in as a character, though, because maybe she will, maybe she won't, but you're invested.
That's true. Absolutely. Well, I mean, even I am now. So I'm like, give her some hope.
She has hope for sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about something a little more uplifting. You guys have coming out pretty soon a musical episode. Yes. That's pretty cool. Yeah. What do you guys want to tell me about that? I know you have a really big singing background, especially on Nickelodeon's Hollywood Heights. We got to hear your lovely voice. I don't know too much about you guys if you can sing. So what's been the overall experience filming the musical episode?
Ethan is a great singer, and I saw him in Legally Blonde, the musical. He played Warren like a year and a half ago. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, and when I watched that, that's when I was like, we need to do a musical. Because I told him that night. Wow, literally. I literally did, because I come from musical theater background training, so I felt like I could do it, he could do it, and then there we go. We're going to do it. You know? That's how it started.
And has it been like fun? Has it been like, is there musical like actual dance numbers, or it's just singing? I'm like, are we going full on here?
Yeah. There's no dance numbers, but there are 8 songs, which is really exciting, and they're all original, and they move the story along.
And you mentioned that they'll be downloadable.
They're on iTunes. They're actually everywhere, but they're on iTunes, and you can purchase them now.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm really excited about this musical episode. It's in a style where we don't really break the fourth wall, but it just starts going into singing in it. So if you can embrace that, it's almost like Les Mis or something, you know, like then there you go. It's perfect.
Well, and it's fun too, because then you get to see these characters sort of expressing themselves in a different way. And for those people that have been watching the show for a while now, at least, you sort of have a sense of who is who, and you'll see them sort of expressing, you know, music is a, what did they say? It's like the language of the soul.
Yeah.
And you know, without getting too much into it, I feel like it's fun, at least for me, to have expressed myself as in a different way than I otherwise would have been able to on the show.
And Mike's a great singer too. I listen to his song. I legit do.
You're gonna sing us a little tune.
By the way, I was terrified actually of doing this, because I started doing theater and musical theater when I was like 12, and so cool. You know, I've been doing it for a while. But that being said, I think that's a little different than going in a studio and having, you know, a mic this close, and having every little thing be picked up on, and I was a little nervous, to be honest. This has been actually, of everything we've done on the show, this is what made me the most nervous.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and we've done a lot. I mean,
we have.
We've done stunts. So I'm glad that it turned out okay, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll have to say, I'm sure you did fine. But you mentioned, like, did Jonathan or Brittany, did you guys grow up with like anything like musical background or acting?
I don't sing in this. They didn't trust me around a microphone.
Brittany, how about you?
I did. I mean, since I was super little, I was in every musical at school, you know, and then every professional acting job I've had, the bigger ones, my character ends up being musically inclined and singing, and the songs get out there. So this one was great because Brian and I were talking about the storyline, and after we hung up and he told me what my song was going to be about, I just wrote it. I just got it so inspired, because it's such a beautiful story what Sheila goes through, and so it just spoke to me. And I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just started dinking around on the piano, and I was like, Brian, I have something.
It's amazing though. It stays in my head. Like sometimes I'm walking down the street and I'll I'm not even gonna let people hear it themselves. I'm not gonna try to impersonate, but it's you know what I mean? It's great. It's killer. It's
like I've been doing musical theater since I think my first show I played the tree and like the tail of the three trees. And and like ever since then, like I caught that bug, and then I've been doing like literally 95% of my resume is stage and
so
like
great.
theater and stuff like that. And I went to school for musical theater for a while.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
So,
very
We're
cool.
ready. We're ready to give you a
Yeah.
musical.
Absolutely.
We're prepared.
All the way off the stage. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, you guys actually, last year, I want to talk like a little bit more about Youthful Daze and the recognition that you guys have been receiving, and not just like this year, even last year. Now, last year, you guys were nominated for an LA Web Series Award, and you won. So that's pretty cool. You won for Best Writing and Best Premise/Concept for a Soap Drama.
Yes.
And then this year, you guys are nominated 3 more times.
Yes.
So did anyone take home a win this year, or was it just the nomination?
We were just nominated this year, but it was great to be there. It was fun.
Absolutely. That's really cool. And you guys, I believe, were also at, I'm not sure if all of you were, but at the Indie Series Awards and Radio Disney Awards, Music Awards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who had fun doing that? What was the whole experience like for you guys?
The Indie Series Awards is awesome because sometimes when you're making a project on your own, it's like good intentions only add up so much if there's no craft service on set, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the Indie Series was this great experience where you can almost kind of laugh about that, try to do better in the future, but everyone's in it together with that because, you know, it's like all passion.
Yeah, and Ethan, I saw you wanted to say something there.
I was just gonna say it was great to see other people creating their own art and like putting it out there and like kind of putting themselves out there for the world to see, and like to see that everyone was just like having a blast doing it. It was
That's
just
what makes
great.
you guys like really happy about
Well,
it.
and there's almost this appreciation and this validation that you have. You're on the carpet and you look at somebody else and you're like, oh yeah, you made yours for $10 too. Cool. Like because it's no secret that a lot of low budget online things are we don't have the same resources as a studio film or even a film with a higher budget or a series with a higher budget. So I feel like, at least for me, there was this sort of like an air of respect for the people that had made it to the series awards and the people that had developed their shows, which were very much passion projects for everyone there. There's sort of like a respect for the art that you were able to create.
So you'd say there's like a mutual appreciation between everyone?
Yeah.
That's good. I like that it's like an appreciation, not like competition.
It's like a community. I get
like
so
that.
many like compliments from other web series creators, and I try to give it back when I can. I'm busy working on the show, but if I can watch other people's work and tell them, it's like we're all in this together.
Absolutely. Now I have a few like
Cue the music.
general. That's like the perfect music right up there. Oh my gosh. I have a few like questions for you guys, so anyone can jump in and answer. Feel free. What has been any of your favorite episode to date to film?
There's a shot.
And there's a silence.
There's a shot that's my favorite. And it's I'm at Natalie's house and she leaves and I come up from behind the couch.
Oh my god.
And I couldn't stop laughing when I was doing that. It was really late too. We were shooting late that night and I was just like, Brian, this, and he's like, I know, but we got it. And I'm like, Brian, this I could keep it together. And I was whoosh. Yeah, so that was probably, I don't know, that small shot was hilarious. So I loved it.
Yeah.
Now we were all talking earlier and we were all laughing a lot earlier. Is that like how like your set's like? What's that like? Are you guys like a really close family? What's that like on set?
Yeah, I think like we were talking about earlier, sometimes we just get the giggles and on set, and it's like Mike and I have been in a bunch of scenes where it's just like or on location to some places, and it's just hard to keep it together when you're like bring up one thing and you just start laughing about it. It's like, we had one thing where we did a little video on like they tried to make us go to rehab because we were all in rehab. So we were like they tried to make us go to rehab, and I said, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And we like lost it for a good whole day about that.
That was
So
funny.
just those moments are that's like the best part for me. I mean, obviously we all love our craft, but when you can meet great people that you can kind of keep that friendship with and have that chemistry with on set, that's what kind of keeps it going through the long days, I feel.
Absolutely.
Probably my favorite moment on set was when we had one weekend where we filmed for like 48 hours straight, something like that.
My body changed forever.
For a whole weekend. Like I think I stayed in that sound stage for like 36 hours straight.
Wow.
I probably went home and slept for like 6 hours and then came back. But I remember it was like 5 a.m. and we were filming all that day before, and then like all night, and I probably had like 4 hours of sleep like in between scenes if I had time. And I just remember coming out of the makeup room and like start singing like oh, what a beautiful morning.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and he's like ready to go perform Oklahoma. And I'm struggling to like stay awake on camera.
Yeah, like I just like bust out into singing because like I was like, that's how I had to pump myself up. And we had those the zip fizzes that got me through that weekend.
We had zip fizzes. The AD kept giving them to us. He was like, but no, you've had too much. I'm like, I need another one. Give it to me now.
Like vitamin C shots that you just like take. And
I can say though that honestly, I'm not just saying it, but working with these two has been like the best experience from my life professionally so far, and the work that we've done, I'm so proud of it. I love everything on the show, but Drew's storyline that's airing right now with Tommy, and then his friendship with Colin, and what's going on with that, and the layers of it is so fascinating. But with that said, my favorite thing I've ever shot has already aired. It aired last Christmas, and I got drowned in the bathtub by Templeton Scott, who plays Brad's dad, and he doesn't like me, and Ethan had to come in and save my life. I can tell you I was under the water. I have this memory of being under the water, and it was only for like 25 seconds, but it felt like for forever.
Yeah,
I thought I was literally going to die, literally waiting for him to get me, but it looks great on camera, and there you go.
in this episode, the most recent one, there's a scene where Brian's character is in the bathroom, and this is the same rehab where we first see Colin.
Okay.
And so I break in, and it just so happened that for the next couple of episodes, I feel like for the last two and the next couple of episodes, Colin just sort of starts appearing out of nowhere. So he'll like, it'll be
like Jonathan behind the couch.
Yeah.
So he'll like every scene
I'll come out of like I was in the bathroom, I like came out of the stall, I just happened to be there, and then like there's one where I like fall out of a tree, and there's one where I on our Valentine's Day
you jumped down from the tree.
I jumped down from a tree. I actually jumped down.
It plays better than it sounds. Trust me.
And we shot it like 5 times. And my feet hurt so bad.
I'm gonna be watching it back now in slow-mo.
But my favorite scene to shoot so far, and this is maybe the inception of the Colin jumping out of nowhere, the whatever. It's our Valentine's Day episode, and Randy tries to kill Drew, and Colin jumps and sort of tackles him.
Yes.
And not only was it really fun to tackle Brian, and just he was like, all right, Mike, go for it. And I was like, trust me, I'm gonna go for it. We didn't have a crash pad.
No.
Oh wow.
We did it twice too. The second one hurt really bad. Did we have it? Okay, good.
Yeah. You were covered.
But it was just really fun because who gets to it was like Bodyguard, like who gets to really tackle someone when there's a gun being pointed at them. So that was really fun scene to shoot.
I think Brian likes people randomly appearing out of places because I think Sheila has appeared in many places because I remember this happening a lot.
That's the best.
Or I had like a phone and I was like, I got you.
Look, the intensity of the scene is increased when someone randomly appears on go with
I
a
feel
force.
like Brian's writing the show and he's like, ooh, random appearance.
Like Brian's trademark as a writer. Like some writers put in different things.
You've made it when I give you a random appearance. That's when you're a solid character.
Yeah, made it.
Wait, I've never had a random appearance.
Yeah, we need to talk after the show.
Ethan
awkward moment.
Offset.
Because you just always happen to be in the right place at the right time.
That's my character.
Because you're an angel.
Yeah.
Angels
Actually,
are already
that's
there.
a secret.
Exactly.
That's a secret. We're not allowed to tell.
Getting supernatural.
A lot of you prior to actually being a part of Youthful Daze have been either like TV projects or stage or film, different sorts of elements of the industry. What do you guys like more about it being just web-based? Is there anything that you think is better about it? What are like your differences that you find?
The one thing I like about this project is collaborating with all the people here right now. Like me and Brittany can sit down for 6 hours if she'll let me, and we can like really go somewhere where then I feel like when she's on set with me, same with Mike, same with Ethan, same with Jonathan, that we all come together and we're creating something together. Like I definitely feel there needs to be a structure, and I'm in charge of creating that structure, but I love living in an environment with other actors that I respect where we can play, and that's like the best thing about that compared to if you're on a studio project, you gotta just listen to what everyone else wants to do.
So like the control element.
Yeah.
100%. After filming like my first day with Brian, I was like, you know what? Like there might be some struggles, to be honest, with filming, a low budget web series. But I was like, thank you, because I've never been able to play more. If you shoot a sitcom, you have your like your 3 cameras and like a fake room, and you have to hit your mark, and you have to do this, and it's so technical. And then if you do a film, like a lot of times it's like very technical. But for this, Brian was like, hey, let's just play with it, and let's I want it to feel good, and then we'll worry about that stuff. And it's just that sort of like tactic reversal was really fun, and it was also just really like liberating, because then I was like, hey, let's try this, and he was like, oh, cool idea. Oh, let's try this. Oh, great idea. And ultimately I really think that you see that, at least for me, like I feel like I see that in my performance, and I felt it in my performance, and I wouldn't have had that otherwise.
It's trying to bring that positivity, because I, as an actor, want to do this project. I'm like, oh my god, I have a multiple personality. Have I had a drug problem? I got like all these deep things to dug into, and then I'm going in and playing, but with all the prep done, and I want to give that to everyone else too. And I agree with you completely. I see it. When the work is, when you start with that feeling, the work can get like here. You know what I mean? Everyone comes in, and we're all just humans, so you have your emotions. But if you can be there, the work will be like it can get some other else. That's really fun to play with.
You guys sound like you have a really good thing going there with Youthful Daze, and you mentioned you're in season 4 already filming, but season 3 is only airing right now.
Season 3,
right?
There's 9 more episodes of season 3 left, and it airs every Sunday. Season 4 starts July 12th, and will air.
So mark your calendars, everyone. July 12th.
And we might have an exciting announcement with a new distributor. It's a might, so we'll keep you updated.
We'll keep you updated.
Oh, I'm excited. You guys gotta give me
we have a lot of exciting things. We for sure will.
So I want to talk a little bit now about like anything you guys have personally upcoming. Now I know, Mike, you actually have like some really cool like things coming out, I believe, like some movies. So do you want to tell us a little bit about Case Number 13?
Yeah,
that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's a horror film, and we actually, I was at a table read earlier today. We're actually, it's changing the name, and we're reshooting next month. We're reshooting for 2 weeks on location at the Brandt Mansion at the Haunted House. And it's going to be released then next year. So it's really exciting. And then I have another film coming out called Folk Hero and Funny Guy. Okay. And that was really cool because I got to produce as well.
Oh, great.
So, working with like Wyatt Russell and Alex Karpovsky and Melanie Linsky, and that was really, really cool because it was sort of like watching it develop from script to this, from like behind the scenes, from producerial standpoint. That was really fun. So I'm really, for an entirely different reason, I'm really looking forward to that.
Great. Do you like any more behind the scenes? Is that something you want to go more into?
I'm definitely going to. I've for the last couple of years I've been producing documentaries.
Okay, great.
And with a documentary, it's like, oh, gather all this footage, and then sort of cut a story together. And I try to make my documentaries have sort of a social aspect to them. So my first documentary sold to Showtime last year, and it was called Kidnapped for Christ. Thank you. And now it's involved in a political movement to like to help. It's the subject of the documentary. It's involved in like politics, and so that's I definitely want to continue producing, and then have fun with Youthful Daze and that sort of thing on the side.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah,
absolutely. And is that all you're currently got coming up? Is that like anything else you can tell us?
Yeah. For now.
All right, so we're gonna keep our eye out on Case Number 13, which will be changing name.
Yeah, it'll be changing its name. But and then check out the documentary Lost in America. It's about homeless youth. We're currently in post-production on that right now.
Oh, exciting. Nice. All right, well, everyone will have to check it out. Brian, what's going on with your world?
I'm doing this thing called TMI. That's a really great sketch comedy group. That's why if I'm falling asleep here, we did like 14-hour rehearsals to do the show last night, and it's really fun, though. It's so awesome to be doing Youthful Daze and then do sketch comedy. Because if you watch Youthful Daze, then you'll see it's like we're doing the completely different thing here. And for me as an artist and also just as an actor, like as a hustler wanting to get my name out there, I want to show as many sides of myself as possible. So It's been really fun.
Well, that sounds really cool. Yeah. Ethan.
There's just two things.
Not just two things.
Just two things.
Great.
They're both like indie films. One's a short film, and then one was gonna be a short film, but then the writer like just kept writing, and then it became a full-fledged
that's cool.
indie film. One is called Spit, and I play a neo-Nazi in a gang, and it's pretty fun. Like I had a shaved head. I filmed it like 2 years ago, but post-production takes a long time, and we're just submitting that to festivals. And then this other short film that I was in called Marguerite, and it's I play a soldier in that, and that and that just got accepted, and it's premiering at the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, fantastic!
So,
Congratulations.
thanks.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
I bet you're really excited then for that.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Awesome. All right, over to you two over there, Jonathan,
Go first.
Brittany.
Yeah, so I've been working on a short with Mika Borum. She wrote, it's kind of based on a lot of things that have happened in her life, and I play character Jocelyn that kind of emulates like the actress who may or may not be your best friend in the business.
Okay.
But
A little
was a-
backstabber.
Yeah, we'll see how that
Maybe.
goes. But that's been super fun working on that with her. Like I said, I'm working on something with Ashley Holiday.
Awesome.
She wrote a short. It's kind of like a parody of a horror. And it's been really fun because we're putting it together. We're in pre-production and editing everything right now. But yeah, it's really fun to kind of work on your own stuff. And as Brian's actually been really inspirational with that. So yeah, it's fun to kind of
That's
take the
great. And
reins
can we
into-
expect any new music from you anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, the music that's going to be on Youthful Daze is my original piece, and then I'm actually performing on Saturday night at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills.
Awesome.
So I'll be singing there with
That's
my
really
man.
cool.
Yeah.
And Jonathan, what's going on?
I'm leaving the 20th to go do a movie in New York.
Oh, nice.
And I get to play such a weirdo, so it's gonna be fun. It's a comedy, which is nice. And I actually finished a movie the day before I started Youthful Daze, so it's called Boone the Bounty Hunter, and I think it should be coming out this year. And I play like a spoiled rich kid trust fund kid in that.
Was that fun to play?
Oh yeah, I was such a brat. It's amazing. And then I've been working on my own stuff. I did this short called You Used to Be Cute, and it's just kind of based off some experiences.
like,
Yeah.
I saw that.
So
It's
funny.
so funny.
Yeah.
And
so funny. Go
I'm
watch
shooting
it.
a bunch more of those, and check it out right now on YouTube. It's called You Used to Be Cute. I won out, and I'm gonna shoot a bunch more. So
Oh, that's really cool. I'm gonna have to check that out as well. It sounds awesome. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Well, me today and us at AfterBuzzers.
Thank you
It's
for
been
having
great to
us.
talk about Youthful Days, and I'm glad like so many of you could come in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
thank
was
you.
fun.
Thanks for having us. Awesome.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you.
AfterBuzzers, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Maybe you can tweet me at Mickey_Phillips. Mike Manning, where can they find you on Twitter
it's-
or Instagram?
Everything is at Mike C. Manning.
Brian.
On Instagram, I'm Brian James ZZ, and then Youthful Daze, Twitter and Facebook.
On Instagram, I am California_native, and on Twitter, I am _Ethan Corbett.
On Instagram and Twitter, I'm Britt_Underwood.
on Twitter, I'm at JLipnicki, LIPNICKI. It's kind of hard to spell. So, and then on Instagram, I'm just Jonathan Lipnicki. Same
Awesome.
spelling.
Well, thank you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Absolute so many laughs.
Yeah.
Good time overall. So thank you for joining AfterBuzz
Thank you.
and me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
you.
see you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.